Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on, well, it is the Flash Season 8, but it includes the entire run of the Flash from Season 1 through to where we are in Season 8 so far, because this is my final video of 2021. I think, unless there's some random news which pushes this video back, then this video could maybe be the first video of 2022, so it could be a video that lays in either year, one of the two, I'm not too sure, but hopefully it's the last one of 2021, so this can be like a farewell video to that year. And I just want to thank everyone first off for the support throughout this year. It's been a weird year. It's been a weird past 2 years, so hopefully, things are better on the horizon, what's coming. So fingers crossed in regards to that. So just want to thank everyone for the support over this past year, and I'm looking forward to 2022 because there's some cool stuff I'm planning for the channel, some brand new stuff that I haven't really delved into at all, or if not for quite a while, since like the beginning of the channel. So I'm excited for that, but that's not for like another couple of months, so I'll keep you updated on that when the time is close, if that makes sense. But yeah, as you can tell from the title and hopefully from just what's on screen, we're doing a tier ranking list or ranking tier list, which whatever you call them. We've done them before on the channel, but usually they've been in live streams. But I thought, you know what, let's end off 2021 with just a video, and it's a bit easier because I can edit it down and make it a bit more entertaining rather than like an hour long. I think the last one we did was like an hour and a half long because there was a lot of debating going on in the live stream chat. But of course, throughout the video, let me know how you want to rank these. Now, I will actually leave the link to where you can do your own tier list. Where you, like, I've created it, and when you click on the link, what you're seeing on screen will show up, and you can do your own ranking. And if you want to, you can send it to me over Twitter. I'll probably have a tweet out saying, this is my new video, ranking list, blah, blah, blah. Go watch it. And you can leave your rank or your tier list as a reply to that tweet if you want to. If you don't have Twitter or can't be bothered doing that, you can just let me know in the comment section down below your rankings from S, A, B, C, F. Like, you can just, and where you'd put these individual things. Now, just to make it clear, this is not ranking the seasons. I put out like a teaser for this video on Twitter, and there was pretty much everyone got the misconception that we're either ranking the villains just as a villain, or we were ranking the seasons as a whole. No one really got what we were doing because they didn't really have the link. They just saw like this, what you're seeing on screen right now, and they didn't get the title and everything like that. We're actually ranking the storylines that these villains are associated with. So we're not ranking the season as a whole or the villain specifically as a whole, like how powerful they were and everything like that. We're just ranking their individual storylines and how they go. So let's just say you had a season that's 22 episodes long, but the villain's storyline only takes place in about 13 episodes or so. We're only ranking them based off those 13 episodes. So keep that in mind when I rank them, and also how you go about ranking them if you want to go and do that as well and partake in what we're doing here. But just to start off, we can actually go through what we have here. So season 1, we have the Reverse Flash, and you can see that there's more than 8 things here. There's actually 12, and I'll explain why as we go through. So in season 1, we have the Reverse Flash storyline. Season 2, we have the Zoom storyline. Season 3A, we have the Dr. Alchemy storyline, so I've split that up. Season 3B is the Savitar. Season 4, it was just DeVoe. Season 5A, we have Cicada 1, or Orland Dwyer, I think his name was. Season 5B is Grace Gibbons, or Cicada 2. Season 6A is the Bloodwork arc. Season 6B, I guess it's the beginning of Season 7 as well, but it was meant to be just the back half of Season 6. So Season 6B is the Mirror, well, it's Mirror Master, but I think they called it Mirror Monarch. Season 7A is the Forces. Season 7B is the Godspeed storyline. And then Season 8A is Armageddon. So those are the 12 things we're going to rank here. And I think we'll just go through them in order from Season 1 through to Season 8A. I think that's the best way to go about it, so I'm not jumping back and forth down here. And it's probably just a bit easier. So let's get into it. But I do need to make this clear. These are just my opinions. I'm not trying to make it like a consensus for everyone that watches the show. These are my opinions. What I have in an A tier, you might have in an F tier. What you have in an A tier, I might have in the F tier, and vice versa, and all around and everything like that. So just keep that in mind. This is my opinion. I'm going to respect everyone's opinions in the comment section and that send me stuff on Twitter, because we all have them. That's the beauty of it all. So please respect my opinion. Don't attack me in the comment section, because I know I'm going to have some probably controversial opinions throughout this, so just to get yourself ready. But even though I'm sure, well, I think hopefully the majority will all agree with for the most part. But just, be respectful of myself and everyone else in the comment section down below. This is just for a bit of fun. So yeah, season 1, Reverse Flash. As we can see here, this boy in yellow. Obviously F tier, of course. What am I? It's not April Fool's, it's New Year's Eve. Hopefully this stops bouncing around. It's not April Fool's, it's New Year's Eve. So of course, S tier. S tier. Like, pretty much flawless storytelling if you like at the time, because a lot of the criticisms I see for season 1 are either people that really want to defend something that's going on at the moment on the show when there's really no need to. Just judge something off what it is, don't have to compare it. But at the time when you're watching it live, and even if you just go back and you just focus in on just what's being told in season 1, it's pretty much perfect in my opinion. There's not much like plot holes or errors that they make. It's still one of the greatest seasons of superhero television. I think it'd be easily top 3. People might disagree with that, but that's fine. But it's up there. And really the nitpicks, as I said, or as I've alluded to, come from people that go, well, in season 5 they say this and it affects season 1. You don't take that in. You're just judging off what the actual season is on its own. Next up, season 2. Some people might have it in the A area, which I wouldn't necessarily go, oh my god, that's the worst opinion ever. Like if you had it in like maybe like C or F, I'd throw a question mark up there and go, you sure about that one? But some people have it here, which is fine. I have it S. You know why? I think season 2 is a more fun season than season 1, and it's pretty much on. It's not on par, but it's pretty much on par. Like it's just below the storytelling quality of season 1. My biggest issue with season 2, and I've said this before on the channel, is just the ending. Just the ending thing with Zoom just felt a bit, it just felt like a bit of a step down from everything else he'd done. And you got to remember, like a few episodes before, he was, like murdering and everything like that. Like, well, in the penultimate episode, or like the beginning of the finale or whatever it is, like he kills Henry Allen. His final plan just seemed a bit, So that's just, you take a couple of marks off there, but it definitely doesn't ruin the season at all. Just not the best ending compared to like the Reverse Flash one, which is a bit better. But yeah, Zoom is clearly in S as well. Or like the Zoom storyline they did there, I think it's clearly in S, despite the ending of the storyline not being overly strong. Next up, we have Dr. Alchemy. Now, this might surprise a couple of people. I'm not too sure how many would agree with me, because some people might have it in this area or maybe even this area. And I'm not putting it in F, I'm actually putting it in A. I think this is a really well done storyline, because this involves the Flashpoint that then folds into the post-Flashpoint timeline and everything like that. And a lot of people hate the Flashpoint thing that the show did. I didn't hate it, actually sort of appreciated it, because they didn't try and do the comic, and they used the concept of Flashpoint to do what they wanted to do with the storyline for season 3. Some people, like a lot of people might disagree with me, but that's fine, because this is just my opinion. But I think how Dr. Alchemy folded into it worked really, really well. I think they maybe could have done more with him in his storyline. That's the only thing. But they obviously wanted to start getting going, or start, the rolling through the Savitar storyline that would then play out into the back half of season 3, or 3B, if we're going to refer to it as that. So I think Dr. Alchemy and the 3A storyline, I don't really have too many complaints. It's definitely not S tier, because it just doesn't have that hype level or that length to it. But I think I'd be being really harsh just off how I know I feel about the storyline if I put it in B. So I have to put it in A, just for me, just because I know I liked it a lot. So yeah, I'm going to have to put it in A. Now, this is where it might get controversial. Because I've put season 3A in A, people might not like where I'm about to put season 3B with Savitar. And that's actually in the B area. Now, this doesn't mean I think it's terrible. I love the middle third, which is the first half of like Savitar really being the main player for the season. So like pretty much the mid-season premiere up to like episode like 16 or something like that. Something like that. And then like he like locks Wally in the Speed Force and everything like that. I think like around that area. My biggest issue is that we then had the musical episode with Supergirl, which I know isn't necessarily the Flash showrunner or showrunner's fault at that point, because it's not like I don't think they were asking for a Flash Supergirl musical crossover. It was something that they were handed and they went, okay, well, we got to sort of deal with this. it ruins the Wally storyline, that musical crossover, because they just sort of pass over his PTSD because it comes the episode after he gets out of the Speed Force. It sort of ruins that, and then like the whole reveal thing and Pizza Face Barry, it just doesn't work for me personally. However, I think the season 3 finale is one of the better finales that the show's done. I'd probably say it's probably top three finale. It's a fun as hell finale. Flash family teaming up against Savitar. Minor nitpicks here and there, but for the most part, it's a really, really good finale. So I think B for me and how I feel about it is a fair ranking. I know some would put it A. I know some would put it S. And some would put it even lower. I know there's people that absolutely despise and hate Savitar. They might put it C or F. But for me, I think B is a fair ranking for how I feel about it. But this might trigger people. I'm not too sure about this one. So, DeVoe. If you've watched my channel either during season 4 or after, whenever we've like thrown back and talked about other stuff, you would know how I feel about season 4. And it's not F, it's not C, and it's not B, but it's not S. It's A. I really, really like season 4, even though it's got some. It's got its negatives. Don't worry. I don't need to be reminded of some of the negatives. But I'm basing this off the DeVoe storyline, like the main storyline. And the only negative with the DeVoe storyline is the body swapping or the extended body swapping. I've seen people say the body swapping shouldn't have been there. I completely disagree. I think the body swapping was essential to the storyline, but not like 7 episodes or whatever it was of body swapping. It might have even been 8. I'm not even too sure exactly how many episodes it was of body swapping, but that was too much. It should have been 3 or 4. Like 3 or 4 is like a good like half arc, and there should have been like a half arc of body swapping and there being a specific reason for it. But it felt like they were just doing the body swapping so there was like a gathering of powers to then, build up to like this big boss battle. But I think DeVoe could have done that on his own. I think the body swapping should have just been a temporary thing to know what he can and can't do, and just explore some of these other metahumans that were on the bus. I don't think there needed to be that long of the body swapping process that we had, and that's the only negative with the storyline, in my opinion, my personal opinion. I think the flashbacks are good. I think the relationship with, how his wife plays it, the mechanic plays into the storyline is good as well. The finale is really, really fun as well. He has one of the more badass scenes the show's done with him in the hallway with all the powers. Really, really cool scene. So, in regards to the main storyline of season 4, I think it's an A. Because I said the only negative is the body swapping, which doesn't annoy me too much looking back on it. It was just sort of annoying because you're watching the episodes week by week. I mean, I wonder how someone like that watched it on a binge feels about it, because you can just breeze through those. But watching it on a week by week basis, some of the body swapping did get annoying, but yeah. Next up, season 5A. See, this might surprise a lot of people. And it's not going F and it's actually not going C. I'm actually going to put it B. And that's because I think the storyline at the beginning of this season with the main villain was actually fine. I think it was fine. I think it was enjoyable. It's when it gets to the back half where it sort of loses it, which sort of gives a hint as to where season 5B might be going in this tier list. But season 5A, I think, works well. I think Cicada was menacing. I think he was OP, considering he wasn't he wasn't the powered person. He was just connected to a really overpowered item. And I thought it was cool. It's just after that where it sort of, this should have just been the beginning of the season, the Cicada stuff, and season 5B, the back half, should have been a completely different villain. Cicada was cool, but then they just went too far, and then you brought in the other Cicada, and it just drained it out. And like, I know Reverse flashes at the end, but really it's just sort of to set him up going forward. Like, he doesn't really play too much into the season as a whole. Like, I think that was sort of like a last minute addition, to be completely honest. But yeah, as I said, season 5A I thought deserves to be in B because I think it was enjoyable and fun and everything like that, and a bit menacing at the same time. But season 5B, I'm sorry, F. Like, this is where season 5 goes off the rails, and I think season 5 lacked a lot of direction, just based off bringing in a Cicada for the back half and doing it all over again. It just showed like a lack of detail, and I didn't even know what was going on. I just felt really lazy. It's F. Like, there's some good episodes in that back half, but they have nothing to do with this storyline. Like, the good episodes in the beginning of season 5, and most of them are good, have to do with Cicada, whether it's him directly or just involving what's going on with him. Not this case. not this case. Like there is not every episode is bad that deals with it, with the Cicada storyline in the back half in 5B, but I mean, a lot of them aren't great. It was not very good. So it has to go in the F tier for me. Next up, Season 6A, this is the first storyline that Eric Wallace did. So we're entering Eric Wallace territory. And this is the Bloodwork arc. Season 6A took up from pretty much episode 1 through to episode 8, I think, because in episode 9 was Crisis. So this involved Crisis as well, but we're just basing it off the Bloodwork thing. Even with the Crisis stuff, the beginning of Season 6 is really, really good as well. But if we're just focusing on the Bloodwork stuff, it's Eric Wallace's, up until something I had recently, it was Eric Wallace's best work, and it's an A tier. It's A tier for me. The thing that helps it is that it's limited. It's a very limited storyline because, as I said, they were building up to Crisis. So some episodes in that beginning half of Season 6 are just focused on Crisis, and you had Ramsey or Bloodwork in them, but he wasn't a main player. Like, it was just sort of planting seeds for his storyline. But with the episodes that focused on his storyline were really good. Like The Last Temptation of Barry Allen, that part 1 and 2 was fantastic. And even the setup before that I thought was really, really good. So it's limited, which gives it an advantage, but we're basing it just with the quality, and it's A tier for me. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Next up, Season 6B. Now, this is a weird one because we know the issues that surrounded this because of the whole pandemic sort of cutting it short, and they had to sort of squeeze the ending of this storyline into the beginning of Season 7, and it didn't really get the proper time in the finale to sort of play out properly. It just ended sort of weird. And some would put it F. I think that's really, really harsh. It's C, because you got to remember, we're basing it off just the storyline for the villain. I know I'm saying that, or restating that constantly, but I have to say that because Season 6 in the back half had like 4 or 5, like 9 out of 10, if not higher, episodes in a row. You know, like the Gorilla Grodd, the Wally episode, Exorcism of Nash Wells, and another 1 or 2 episodes there that were just fantastic. It was awesome post-Crisis, but they didn't really involve, the main player in them wasn't Eva. So if we were just saying those episodes with Eva, it'd probably get bumped up to a B, if not maybe an A, because those episodes were so good. But they weren't Eva. Eva's storyline was just meh. Like, that's probably the best way I can just put it. Meh. It was just really, really average. Not bad, just average. That's the best way to put it. Now, it would have been interesting to see if it played out properly and we were in a timeline where the pandemic didn't happen. They didn't have to, stop and start the season months later. But we got what we got. You deal with the hand that you dealt. So it's a C for me. I think it's just bang average, straight down the middle. Like, nothing more to say there. Here we go. This one I was worried to talking about, and I wonder if this will be controversial or not, because I do wonder how people outside of Twitter consider this, because Twitter is just its own sort of like weird area. Like, there's people with weird opinions on there. Not saying they're wrong, but they definitely go harsh on it. Because I guess there's a lot of anonymity on Twitter. People with like a picture of a frog or something like that. Season 7A, the Force storyline. I think it had a different word, but I think it was like God Complex. I don't even know what it was called, but it's just Force storyline. I'm sorry, it's an F. Like, I'm not even going to like sugarcoat it or try and say anything. It's an F. The beginning of it is actually fine and actually good. I think it actually has good setup. It's, I think, 7 episodes long, and I'd say maybe like the first 2, 3, or 4. I'd say the first 2 or 3 episodes are good and enjoyable and fun. I was looking forward to seeing where they go, because it's not a strong storyline in the comics, which is going to be something similar with the Godspeed stuff as well. But it's not an overly strong thing in the comics. And I wasn't sure how the show would adapt it, because I think you have to do stuff afterwards as well. You can't just sort of contain it in just this storyline with just this entry point. So they changed it a bit, and like the Dion Owens episode is really fun. Even the Psych one's pretty good. But man, like the 2-part finale for the storyline is terrible. It's definitely what I think just left a stain on season 7. I don't even know the process of how they came to conclusions in like the decision-making process. It was confusing. Like, it deserves an F. If there was just F minus or F plus, what's like a bigger F, it'd be there. But we got one F, just one single F. So it's there. Like, it's worse than the Cicada 2 storyline by far. It's easily the worst thing the show's done. And it's just mainly because of how they ended it. Like, it was all over the place. But I want to move on. Godspeed. Now, I reckon some people might put it C. Some people might even put the Godspeed stuff F, which I think is incredibly harsh. I think it's B. I think it's actually a fine storyline. We had some fun moments. The biggest issue with this, and I think I said it in a video or two, like before season 8 started, it just needed another episode. Some say like, oh, I need like another 2 or 3. I personally think at the very least, to sort of make the storyline work and make it play out correctly and just make it make a bit more sense, it needed one more episode. What we needed was the events of the quote unquote finale that happened to be the second last episode outside of obviously Godspeed being defeated. That should have been later in the finale, but you have another episode of, you know, worth of footage in between those two moments of him getting all powerful. Because in this, you know, in season 7, he gets all powerful and then he's defeated in like, what, 2 minutes or 3 minutes later? Like, it's so quick. It's just like, well, what was the point of that? We just wasted so much time. We didn't even get half an episode's worth, which is what a lot of shows do. You get like half an episode worth of them being a menace, and then you get to that final act where you verse them and you defeat them and stuff. They didn't even do that. It was sort of, it was weird. I don't know what happened there. It doesn't really help that we had that interlude which wasted like 3 or 4 episodes. It just needed one more episode, this Godspeed storyline. I think honestly it could be bumped up to an A if it just had that one extra episode to flesh it out a bit more. And if you've watched my videos, you know how I feel about Godspeed. I'm not the biggest fan of him from the comics, so I didn't have a high expectation for his storyline in the show. I think they did a decent job. They just didn't have a lot of time with him. So yeah, B for me with Godspeed. You might have him lower, you might have him higher, but for me, he's just a B. And finally, Armageddon. I put Despero there because like I think he'd be the face of Armageddon because he's like the new threat. And you might think, oh, okay, Pagey, you might put him at like a B or an A. You're wrong. I think it's S tier. This is, I think, the most consistent storyline for an arc. I know it's only 5 episodes, but you got to base it off, you know, you judge it off what it is. It kept, I think, myself and most people from what I could tell enthralled and like second guessing everything from the first episode up until the last episode of the finale. It was so much fun. It was so much like fan service as well. I enjoyed the hell of it. Sure, there was some weak parts, and I think it was mainly just to fill some screen time because it's not like the storyline was overly extensive, but I had one hell of a time, and I think I'd be doing a disservice to how I know I feel about Armageddon as a whole to put it lower than S. I think a lot of people would have it in the A for Armageddon, but I'm putting it S, and I'm going to stand by that. And I can't wait to see what the fallout is when we head into the rest of Season 8, and whether Season 8, the other 2 arcs that we're getting can maybe be in the A or maybe even S tier as well. Hopefully not B or lower. Let's stay strong for the rest of this season. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. As I said, I will leave, hopefully this will work, but I think it will because I've tested it, the link to where you can make your own ranked tier list for all this, and you can do it. It'll be the same layout as you've seen on this video, and you can take a screenshot and send it to me on Twitter, or reply to my little post on Twitter that will be related to this. Or if you want to, if you can't be bothered doing that, or you just don't have the means to do it, you don't have a Twitter account or anything like that, you can just let me know in the comment section down below how you would rank them. What's in the S tier, what's in the A, what's in the B, what's in the C, and what's in the F. Let me know. I'm always curious to read what you guys are thinking, especially in regards to all of this. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. If you could leave a like on the video to show support, it would be awesome if you could do that. As I said, thanks for 2021. If this is the last video of 2021, I'm looking forward to 2022 and what we're doing in that year. Fingers crossed it's better. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. And goodbye.